Yeah, I guess we can start. So yeah, today I thought like I need some more time to prepare the deck. Okay. So today I thought okay, let's go through the uh, any questions you have or looking for anything like you might need help with a pathway or anything. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions, guys. Yeah, Sandeep, Prashant, Shrikant, Pawan. So if you have any Q&A or any pathway, right, or wherever you are, you looking for anything else further. So any guidance is needed or any you have any technical issue you wanted to discuss or yeah, do you need help with anything? Yeah, you can.
like like
Yeah,
any
okay.
platforms, any platforms where I can like positive little and people are saying like put the projects in your resume, make build the projects like how I need to initiate that. Like, I am not really sure like how to build a project and all.
Yeah, so hey, feel free to talk in Telugu also, okay? So anything, no problem.
Okay, okay. English and so
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So, okay, so your question is related to Docker, right?
only Kubernetes. I mean,
Okay, let's keep the Kubernetes like Docker and Kubernetes both. Is it
okay.
okay? So you need to understand two things, as in like why where the concept came in, the Docker concept came in. Okay, so this is the next. So you have something called C groups and namespaces.
E concept idea.
Yeah, right. So you just don't have Docker. Okay, you have other things like you have CRD, Cryo. Yeah, yeah, just for even like others would be also there, right?
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going in there, but just let. So okay,
Understood.
right. So the concept of Docker specialty is like it supports writing the file, it supports building the file, and also it supports like running the container. Okay. Can I do with this other tools? Yes, you can do with Containerd or Creo. You can do that one. Okay. And like learning the concept of Docker, it involves three things, man. Okay. So you will start with some dummy Docker file or a simple one, right? Uh, and
Yes.
then you will do the Docker build.
Uh,
Okay. And then you will do the Docker. So I'll get you with the Docker, like the whole concept. I'll say like you go in and out advanced. Okay. Then I'll move to the Kubernetes thing. Okay. So now, uh, this is a hello world, I'll say. Introduction.
okay.
Okay. Now, I have a question where, okay, I have my application. It's connecting to database. Okay. So let's take a web CRUD application. Okay. So for I need database connection, right? DB connection details, as in host name, username, user ID, password, and port, right? So my question is, this app is something like a Python app, let's assume. So the database already hosted somewhere. So if this app is running as a Docker, how do you provide these credentials? Any idea? Like ever came across that?
Later.
Yeah. So that's called Docker best practices. Okay. So you can talk to these guys, this dig or so. So what we are looking for is we want to the provide this file as an envs. Okay. You can create a .env file and you can provide the credentials in an application. Okay. Here in Docker, you will provide as ERs. Let me show you. Yeah, secrets. Okay. Or yeah, this is the one, envs. Okay. So you might have idea about Docker file. Okay. But there is something called Docker Compose. Let's say if you're working in a complex Docker environments, like 2 or 3 Dockers are there, so you can use Docker Compose. Okay. So
Okay.
coming back, we'll go step by step. What and all you need and what and all. So we need technical skill set. So one thing what you need is you need to know how to build and task. Okay. So you need to know how to build and run the Docker. Okay. Build and run the container. Okay. Next, you need to know how to troubleshoot the container, right? So troubleshooting as in clean up, spin up. Okay. Check the Docker logs. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm an EB. Yeah. So what we'll do here is Docker logs, we can say, okay, or Docker PSI name. Okay. So next thing is you want to know about the multi-container build. Okay. So we'll go through that. So you need a state and state, as in volumes. Okay. So how do you deploy Jenkins? How do you deploy MySQL or Postgres, right? And you need to attach a volume to the container. Okay. And then
Okay.
multi-stage container. Okay. And you also need to know how to write a Docker file. Okay. That would be your first task.
Got it.
Okay. So what and all resources I need? Basically, okay. The resources can be anything. See, like I'm trying to set up something. It's taking time. Okay. So coming to Docker file, where can I learn the components of Docker file? Okay. So what we are doing, we are taking a Linux OS, okay, and we are removing everything from the package, okay. Everything we are removing, we are keeping it minimal, something like 100 MB, okay. On top of it,
Okay.
you are installing Python or any other dependencies, and you are doing. So this is a base image. So from the base image, we are doing the thing. So how will I learn? So you have something called Node.js, Docker source code. So this is called Docker source code, Docker file. Okay. So if you see here, yeah. So you have Debian, you have Alpine, right? So Bullseye Slim. So I'll go for Bullseye, right? So if you see this, so what he's doing, he is building from a Debian Bullseye. That's okay. So he is adding groups. He's mentioning node version. It's a env. It's a variable environment. Okay.
Okay.
And then he's running some stuff, as in like installing packages and all. Okay. And again, he is also running some stuff here. And finally, he is doing a Docker entry point. Okay. So what do you mean by Docker entry point? So you can run a shell script to do the things. So yeah, set node. If this all these parameters is matching, so he's asking to run the node thing. Okay. So rm minus rf and command node. Okay. So he's setting up some things based on the live environment. Okay. So what exactly it specifies is, so you need to know base image. Okay. Set up a new user. Okay. Install some things like sudo git or some things. Okay. You need to
Okay.
know what is arcs and uh, envs. Okay. So what is arcs and envs? I'll tell you. And you need to know what is cmd and entry point. Okay. So
Okay.
what is, like, see, set up a new user, Linux, right? You can able to do this. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah. So bash installation, git installation. Okay, this you can do. Okay. Next is arcs and envs, right? So arcs and envs is a static one, as in you're saying and it got fixed, right? See, my node version is this. Okay. But let's say when I'm doing a Docker build, I want to provide a custom parameter. Like let's say one example as MySQL, right? You have MySQL. what do you want? You want to set a own password, whatever comes with the build Docker file, or do you want to set up your custom password, right? So if the Docker image is static, how do you pass a custom password? So for that, we have, let's open and see the MySQL source code. Okay, MySQL Docker. Meanwhile, I'll connect to my mini PC. Okay. Yeah. So if I go back to here, so if I go to here, right, this is the MySQL Docker library. Okay. You have Debian template, and I'll go to 8.4. Okay. So you have Docker Oracle. Okay. See, all these are same thing. So they are installing gzip and any small snippets and all. Okay. Small modules, programs. Okay.
Okay.
And then set EU. These are all envc setting up, and see micro DNF install. So he's installing something, MySQL shell. Okay. And volume. So he's attaching a volume also. Okay. Like for database, we need a volume. Okay. But if you go to
Okay.
entry point and see, yeah, this is a log file and process in it. Okay. So somewhere there will be a password. But yeah. So you see, file env password. So what they are doing, they are taking all these things. Okay. Yeah. This is the one. Okay. So whenever they are trying to initialize, they are trying to initialize with the parameters we provided. Okay. So what we'll do, we will provide a custom MySQL password, right? So they are taking
Okay.
that one and creating it. And also MySQL user, if you want to create a new user, they are creating it. So basically, for a Docker file, we can provide a runtime environments. Okay. As in when it is going to the next phase, right? So Docker file to code file. Okay. And build. So from here to here to here, well, when it is going, right? So here you can provide a runtime arguments. Okay. So that runtime arguments is called args. Okay. Docker. So this runtime argument is called args, like args and envs. So we can provide as -e. So envs. So args has the static arguments. What are all
Argument.
there
Okay.
already, we don't change. Envc is the runtime arguments we provide when we are running, as I showed earlier. So we are providing like is a password or something. When you are trying to build an image, you can set up anything. So you want to do something in the Docker when you've done it. So you want to run some cleanup scripts or anything. So you can do this. And final one is Docker image, right? Container, right? So yeah. So now, what are all things you can go? You can go refer to Docker files and you can refer the entry points and all. Run and build the container. That's done. Okay. So next one is Docker exec. Okay. So inspection of the container as in we'll do Docker PS and Docker exec as in sometimes you need to go inside the container and see what's happening. Okay. So let me see. Okay. For some reason, my mini PC is not turning up, but yeah, that is it. So for container, so what we'll do, we'll go inside Docker exec. Okay, that command would be something like this. So Docker exec hyphen it. Okay, you can container name, right? And then at the end you can do bin sh ls or you can do bin bash. Okay, so that's about
Okay.
it. Like that's how you will troubleshoot. Right? Once you go inside, you will run some Python pwd commands and any other command. So you'll get to know, okay, whether it is running as it's supposed to. So all that thing you'll be aware. And yeah, that's about it. And then you'll know volumes, right? So how to attach a volume when building the Jenkins. So how will you
Oh,
attach a volume as a Docker run, right? Is it -v?
uh,
Okay. So local remote directory. And how will you do a port forwarding? Local remote. Yeah, that's it, man. So if you know all these things, you're good enough. So multi-stage container as in multi-stage image, right? So from builder image as build stage, okay? So like sometimes what you do is you will copy node modules or any other things, right? So those kind of things you can do in stage one and stage two. So once you do that, what happens is it will reduce your size, okay? So executed in sequence, single container like ability to run different parts by separating build environments from the final environments. Okay. Yeah, this is the multi-stage build. So in one stage we are trying to set up the things as in copying the source code and other things. And the second stage we are trying to run the like the code directly. Okay, in the Docker. Okay. So why do we need multi-stage content? Multi-stage build is uh, yeah, so multi-stage container. So what happens is when you do this, so you will basically. So in the part one, you will do compile and package. In part two, you will be executing. So in this process, whatever your Docker image size, right, it will get reduced. So yeah, here you will try to reduce the image size. So yeah, you might need to try the multi-stage build. Yeah,
oh,
man. So that's about it. And if you want to go advanced, you have the Docker build you can set up as a CI/CD for you can push to ECR or Docker repo or Docker Hub, right? So that one you can try it as CI/CD. And
I
there
mean,
is
as of now,
something,
I'll try. Yeah, as of now, I'll try till multi-stage builder from the concept that you tell.
yeah. And also I suggest you try this one as well, Docker volumes, as in,
Yeah, అది కూడా చేస్తాను ఖచ్చితంగా.
uh, and you need to try this one, Docker exec, this entry points, right? So you might need to know only once. And there is another thing, Docker limits. Okay. So if you want to go bit advanced, okay. So what are Docker limits is like you can specify this is the CPU, this is the CPU I'm gonna use, this is the
ఓకే
memory I
ఓకే
can
ఓకే
use for this.
అది సి
So
గ్రూప్స్ లో ఇస్తాం కదా బేసిక్ గా మనం రీసోర్స్ అలొకేషన్.
yeah, same thing, similar thing.
ఓకే.
Yeah, that's about it, man. Docker లో ఇంత మించి ఏం లేదు. Some people build local Docker repository. అంతే. So you can go bit advanced for yeah, what do you want to know about K8s?
లేదు యాక్చువల్లీ నేను స్టార్ట్ చేయలేదు, నేను రెండు సైమల్టేనియస్ గా క్యారీ చేయొచ్చేమో అనుకున్నాను. బట్ మీరు
అంటే
చెప్పిన దాన్ని బట్టి.
if you do this thing, see, hardly it will take 2 3 days or maybe a week, like every one day, 1 hour kuchunde. Okay, hardly a week. You already know the basics, so you're just brushing up the things, right? So once you know, నీ Kubernetes లో నీకు ఏం వస్తుంది బేసికలీ ఓన్లీ ఇమేజ్ ఒకటే వస్తుంది, కంటైనర్
ఓకే.
ఇమేజ్ ఆర్ డాకర్ ఇమేజ్ యూస్. నీకు వచ్చేది బై ప్రోడక్ట్ ఇది ఒకటే కదా, విల్ రీయూజ్ ఇట్ అంతే.
అవును.
సో you will, like here you will know all these steps. Okay, now Kubernetes వచ్చాక నువ్వేం చేయాలంటే you need to come up with an application, some Jenkins you can do, or some, no, let's not go with Jenkins, something like Nginx you can do, or something like any small Python code you can spin it up, right? So what you can do, you can write a manifest file. So నీ environment specify చేసుకోవాలి, you can specify a mini cube actually నీ ల్యాప్టాప్లో అయితే, ఆర్ K3s ఆర్ K8s. ఓకే, సో నీకు ఇది ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ ఐడియా ఉందా కుబర్నెటిస్?
లేదు.
యా, సో యా, విల్ గో త్రూ దట్. సో there are two things. So one is admin, even Kubernetes also there are two things. Okay, so administration, okay, and your application deploy. Okay, now you need to decide which one you want. Okay, do you want admin side or do you want deployment side? I suggest you go with the deployment side. That is called CKAD certification. అదైతే CKAD ఉంటుంది. CKA వచ్చి నీకు full fledged administration వస్తుంది. Okay, so I suggest to go with the app deployment, as in, so now what will you do here is someone will set up a cluster for you, like you can set it up with Minikube basic or K3s if it's your own laptop అంటే. సో హియర్ నీకేముంటాయి అంటే వన్ మాస్టర్ అండ్ వన్ నోడ్ ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే.
యా, వన్ నోడ్ అండ్ వన్ మాస్టర్. సో హియర్ మాస్టర్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ మేనేజర్. ఓకే, see here in Docker you're doing everything by yourself. Okay, what if a container gets killed? Okay, what if you want to scale it up? So also Docker Compose, I forgot. So you need to know using Docker Compose. Okay, so Docker Compose and Docker network, right? So you'll get an example. Just a second. Yeah, sorry about it. So yeah, you go through Docker, what is it? Docker Compose also. Okay. So if you go here, you will understand how the volumes comes in, how the network comes in, right? Everything will go at a one stack, right? So the Docker Compose, yeah. So you'll come up with a one file, okay? And like I'll give you one example, okay? Yeah, this guy. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. So you have tons of example here, so you can try anything. So I'll take this. Yeah, do you see here? So I suggest before going to Kubernetes, you try this. So you will know what is it you are trying actually. No, దీని ద్వారా what is it you are trying to achieve, right? See, you have services, as in you have front end service and you have a back end service. Okay, and DB you are trying to set up as a service. So there is additional parameters Docker lo kuda, like as in health check. So health check, as in it will tell you whether the container is active or not based on this health check. So you can try to do a
ఓకే.
CMD shell or curl. Okay, and you have the networks. Let's say you are trying to build something, so you can keep something like, usually if you spin up two Dockers, they'll be in a two different networks or a single common network. So if you set up two things in a single network, so you can use this. You can do it manually, but Docker Compose does it give need for you. Okay, so how you set up your passwords, okay, and exports, right? So similarly for backend also the same thing. Okay, and you have a proxy, and if you want, you can go for Plex. Okay, so here we are giving a volume. Okay, and I think I can go for something like Java. Yeah, that's it. So if you see here, we have a concept called health check. Okay, so we have a concept called depends on, and also ports are there. So this whole thing they are calling a service. Okay, so in service you can specify replicas also, like how many replicas I want and all. So that also you can specify here. So that's about Docker Compose. So I suggest you learn this one also, Docker Compose kuda, and then you jump
Oh,
into Kubernetes, and now you'll know what to do exactly. Okay, so you'll spin up
okay.
one master, one node, and you have a image is already ready. Okay, so you'll assume minikube is already ready there. Okay, so what will you do? You will set up a Kubernetes manifest file. So manifest file ఏముంటుందంటే same thing, Docker Compose లో ఉన్నది. What is your container name? What is your image version? Okay, so if you want any CPU limits, okay, do you have any credentials as in secrets?
A kind of metadata.
Yeah, secrets no. And you will have your CPU limits, okay? Or do you want anything else, any specifications and all? Or you want how many replicas you want? All these things. And coming to port number also. Okay. So this is deployment managed.
Oh,
Okay. Same thing, you'll have services. Let's say you want to do a port forwarding for one port. Okay. Or sometimes later you want to specify your service name, as in this is my app service. Okay, now you deployed one service, this is app. Okay, web. Later you deploy another service, you want these two that to communicate each other. Okay, so you'll deploy another service. So all these things you will mention here in the services. So this
oh,
need to, I'm trying to explain in the layman terms. Okay, mostly if you go there, the manifest will be looking like this. Okay, so okay, it's manifest GitHub. So here, like you have a lot of examples. Okay. See, there are two ways, man. Okay, to learn anything. So one, you'll learn the concept, theory concepts. Okay, and then you'll go for complete practice. Okay. So if you are a senior person, what you can do, you can learn one concept, you can do practice. So you can go on, keep on practicing and with the examples and you can learn. Okay. So let me take one example. Okay. You have dashboards, right? Yeah, homework. Okay. Yeah. So this is a claim deployment. Okay. So this is for storage. If you want to go bit advanced, it's about the storage. Okay. Yeah. See, this is what. So these are all defaults. Okay. So this here specifying the app image version. What is the password? What is the volumes? Okay. So if you have any volumes, we'll specify volumes also. Okay. And what else is there? It's the same thing. What is the port number you want to access on? That's it. So
oh,
it's all
okay.
same thing. How we are doing in Docker, it changes in how we are doing in Kubernetes. So if you understand the concept properly, you can do it anywhere. Yeah, that's it. Man. So K3S, so what I suggest is you start with the app deployment first. Try to deploy the apps. Okay. What is health checks, right? Okay. And there is a deployment manifest, as in like if you're trying to upgrade to another version, next version, Docker image version, you'll upgrade. Okay. So that also you can specify in the deployment. How do you like you want 25% to be healthy pods, or you want to change, you want to cause a pod impact and all. So all the things you can specify in here. Okay. So you need to know little basics as in what is pod, what is node and all. Then you'll jump into app development. How do you deploy the app? Once you are good enough, then you will learn into Kubernetes admin. Okay. So how you spin up a node, how you spin up a master. Okay. How you troubleshoot the issues and all other things. But now what happening is all this thing is managed, right? Managed by EKS or GKE. So there you will get less scopes to do the hands-on. But if you want to be really Kubernetes expert, you can try to spin up your own cluster and you can do the things over there by your own.
Oh,
Otherwise, there is a managed thing. You can use AWS EKS or GKE. So you're good with it. So it's based on you how much you want to learn. There. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions or anything? Yeah. Anything in pathway or anything we can ask. Yeah, and Pawan, right? So see, all these
Uh,
things, if you ask me for resource, I don't know what to specify. Like you can use Moonshot. Okay. For Kubernetes, I suggest Moonshot. Okay. If you want to be CK, like try for CK. Rest all things you can try your own. Like you can try any YouTube you can take, or
okay.
you can use ChatGPT to to guide you further. So yeah.
CMDకి ఎంట్రీ పాయింట్ కి బేసిక్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఎక్కడ వస్తుంది?
So CMD key entry point kante, it's about the same thing. Arcs versus ENVs, right? Okay, Arcs is static, ENVs is custom. Okay,
ఓకే, డైరెక్ట్.
so we took one example as CMD. It will just run your it will just run your service MySQL D or Nginx and all. That's it. It won't do anything. Entry point is a shell script, runtime shell script.
ఓకే.
Okay. So here it can do something like, okay, let's set up the password first. So like when you're running MySQL, what will you do? You'll set up your password. Okay. All these things, installation steps and all you will do. And then you will run the container, or you will import the schema and then you will run the MySQL process. Similarly, in entry point, you can specify list of the steps to perform. Okay. In order to spin up my container. Okay. I want these to be runtime arguments. Okay, something like, okay, I'll give you, customer will give you this. Okay, his site name he'll provide. Okay, something like www.com. Okay, I want to create a binary files, or I want to create a HTML static files or Nginx configuration files. So I want to create it based on the input user provided. So based on the URL input user provided. So based on that, you can provide a dynamic entries. So that's what shell script does. The entry point
ఓకే,
does.
ఎంట్రీ పాయింట్.
Dynamic,
ఓకే.
static versus dynamic. That's it. In a
థ్యాంక్స్,
nutshell,
థ్యాంక్స్.
but it's that's it. You can do the customization if you however you want. Yeah.
ఓకే.
Anyone else has any questions? CSID, Prometheus, monitoring, anything can discuss.
Sissy, a small question that
Yeah.
is there any difference between a Docker and a container D you are using? Because in some cases we are
Ah,
using container D and in some cases we are using Docker.
okay. So, as I told in the starting, right? So we are depending on C groups and namespaces. So Docker is one approach to interact with the Linux container namespace, right? So now what happened is you have a container D is another mechanism. Okay, like similar to Docker, there is a container D to manage the containers. Okay, so here you can using this you can only manage the containers. You cannot do the build and all. Okay, and why do you need container D? So now what happens? Yeah, this Linux, right? So you have the K8s built on top of a Linux, right? So earlier it was supporting these things. Okay. Now earlier what happened? The K8s were supporting the Docker also. But what happened with Docker is any user can come in. Okay. See, you wrote a Docker image. If I have access to this one, what I'll do, I'll update my image. I'll run and I'll create a new image with the Docker build and all. So what they did, they removed this Docker component, Docker shim. Okay. And then they say kept only container D. Okay. Yeah, it's just a runtime to run the containers. Okay. So yeah, this is what. So you have your hardware. Okay. So there is a container runtime. On top of that, the Docker was built. Okay. So container runtime is that nothing but your container. Let me show you. Docker CLI will run the commands to do anything. Okay. CNC FNB can specialize in core functionality of running container, needing access to low-level container, the Wilson container D. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, that's it. So this is what the container D, it sits on top of your the hardware and OS. Okay. So this is your hardware and OS. So container D runtime. This is the we have something called compliance. Okay, the OCI. Okay, open container initiative. So uh, so container D is compatible with that, but not Docker. Okay. So here, as I told, yeah. So people are now shifting towards containerd. Some companies, they just want to manage the containers, as in they don't want to build anything with the Docker and all. So some people, they're getting rid of the Docker thing separately and just relying solely on the containerd. Okay. But with the Docker, it will help you with the building, managing, and anything. Docker is a abstraction sits on top of containerd. That's it, man. So containerd, we can just run or stop containers, or run the containers or kill containers, debug containers, and anything we can do with I think CTL PS. So here you will run something like Docker PS. Okay. So you can do CTL pill. Okay. Okay. CTL. Well, yeah, that's it, man. It's a low level of Docker. It's a like, let's say, internal of Docker component. Okay, now it got abstracted outside, so you can use it if you want. Yeah,
Okay,
some companies are using only container.
okay. So that means we can't build a new image, but we can maintain the containers running.
Yes, yes. See,
Okay, okay,
sometimes you don't want. Okay, what happens? You have a complaints thing. Okay, if you want to build a container, build an image. So what you do? You will set up a build GitHub build, right? So you'll set up a GitHub, okay, and or a Git code. Okay, you want to go as CI/CD, and here you will run a Trivy, right? You anyone heard of Trivy here?
yeah, it's a scanning
Yeah,
tool, right?
yeah, right. So
Okay,
Trivy scanning tool. So you'll check the vulnerabilities if the image has any vulnerabilities or any security issues and all. So and the next phase is you will once everything passed, okay, the container checks and all passed, you will do the build and you will push it. Okay. Now with the Docker, I can just do Docker build and Docker run if I have a Docker in my laptop, right? So if I'm doing a proper procedure, I'll do with this. But if I have a Docker inside my laptop or inside my VM, okay, I'll just do Docker build and Docker run. That's it. My image is ready. Okay. Uh, People want to avoid this. That's it. People don't want this one. They want to go with the proper structure. Okay. And if anyone wants you want a new image, you put a Git repo, you put your code in Git repo, we will scan, we'll approve it. Okay. You will get a new version. That's it. So, but you people don't want to do this one with the Docker build and Docker run. That's why they're some people are getting rid of their in the KH environment or in any of their offices, right? So some they are getting rid of the Docker and all. So they are just plainly relying on a container. So what do you want? You want to execute a container or you want to see what is happening inside and all. So you'll do with the, you can do everything with the containers, the quick CTL and all. Yeah. Does it make sense?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you don't need Docker to do the build. Okay. You have another builds also. You have something called builda. Okay. So yeah, this is a builder. Okay, it also can do the build, or you can rely Docker on here also. As I told in your pipeline, you can rely on Docker here, Docker build and Docker push. Yes, sir. Any questions? Any other people? Any other questions? Yeah, anything in space, anything generic also fine. And yeah, since some people mentioned about KubeCon earlier, okay, KubeCon India next year it is happening on Mumbai, it seems. Okay, this. You have the schedule. Yeah, I met major set of people there. Okay, so you have divided into two things, as in you will have a sessions goes on, and another thing is you'll have a booth where you can meet the people and all. Okay, uh, so what is it? So these are the sessions, man. Okay, so if I just search for AI, okay, it's AI will be there. Yeah, see, okay, somewhere it is there. Or let's say yeah, AI, and let's say ML. Okay, or LLM. Yeah. So most of the so like what's happening is some of the things are now like they are looking towards LLM. Okay. So why it is related to ours is so now we are here. These are all application files, right? Applications and all we are deploying in our Kubernetes. Okay. Now you will have master. You will have the nodes with GPUs. Okay. Okay. So you will have this. So something like Kubeflow and other things. Okay, using Kubeflow. Okay, so you can run your ML workloads as in ML models and all. So you can run your ML workloads on this one, the Kubernetes environment. Okay, so how does a ML workload sample looks like? Okay, Kubeflow sample manifest. Example. Yeah, this is what. It almost looks like your K8's regular manifest. So same thing, we will provide our image, whatever is the Jupyter notebook or Tensor notebook, or the model related thing. So the type is notebook, okay, or different types are there. So we have something called container, we have something called CRDs or so what are CRDs is you can set up some custom Kubernetes objects and all. So through that they bought these items. Okay. And most of the things what I seen is like there are how to run your LLMs. Okay. How to run your AI workloads, how to start into LLMs and all. And we have Argo CD. Argo CD is like whatever this Kubernetes is there, you want to manage the versions as in 1.1 to 1.2. Okay. So you want to with multiple environments or production development and all other things or multi-cloud environments anyway. So you can set up Argo CD. You can do the things there. Maybe in future I might try to take a session. And one other session I attended for what is it for security. So how do you manage security in your Kubernetes? So for that they're using one specific tool. I forgot the name. So I'll give you that. Uh, this is whole day one, right? Yeah. Observability. Yeah, this is the one. This security, and you have one more is oh, one second. I attended only few sessions. Okay. Yeah, this is KBPF. Okay. Yeah, eBPF. So eBPF is nothing but your monitoring observer. Okay. So like let's say we have the levels. Okay. So you have a Linux operating system. Okay. So here we have something called services at one level, as in processes. So if I go in there, what will be there? You have user namespace, user space, and kernel space. Okay, and then you have kernel. So how does it interact with kernel is through system calls. So if you specifying something, there will be system calls will in the background. So what this eBPF does is it will provide your monitoring up to system calls. Something like someone spinned up a sudo container, okay, or someone spinned up some port, opened a port which it's supposed to, which is not supposed to open. So all the things it's supported by this thing called EBP. Yeah, this is related to observability. Hopefully one day we will discuss. Yeah, man. So, yeah, we have OPR case of related to Gen AI and all. So it's divided as in we have AI things on one side, okay, and you have the CK related things on another side, okay. Uh, okay, some people covered securities. Okay, I'll try to give the names. What are is the topics covered? Okay, as in CNCF security, and you have the Kubernetes CKA related things. Okay, how to set up the top level CKA things or how to manage the containers and all, and Argo CD. Okay, and observability. Yeah, and we have some other custom topics. Which I don't remember the things because as I told, it was overwhelming there. Like you have so many things happening and so many sessions are happening in the parallel and all. So yeah, it will take some time to get it like idea. Okay, this is the session I want to attend, and this is the thing which I'm looking for and all. So yeah, you have the service mesh also. Yeah, that's it for this week. I'm trying to conclude. Maybe hope next week I might be busy, but hopefully I'll try to set up the next sessions, man. Yeah, any other things? I'll stop it here. Yeah, any other things, any feedback you want to provide or any inputs you want, any request or something?